Would you say the thing we pride ourselves the most in is changing people's lives?
100%.
It kind of just trickles down as we go. Obviously, I changed your life.
Yes.
I have to say that. Usually,
It's true.
Usually say and start crying, so there's no crying today.
Not today.
So we changed lives.
Yeah.
Imagine taking someone 18, 19, 20, 23 years old, teach them not only how to sell insurance, which is just a product, but it's a very easy product to sell,
Correct.
how to not only become $1 million producer, but also build a multi-million-dollar agency by the time they're 30.
Right.
With residual income for the rest of their life.
Correct.
Residual income for the rest of your life. It's just crazy.
Right.
What does residual income mean? Every time someone buys an insurance policy,
Yep.
it renews.
Yep.
The longer that policy stays with you, get paid on it over and over and over unless they leave you.
Correct. Every single time they make a payment on that policy, you get paid.
Sounds like a good business.
Yeah, and
We're done here.
That's it. I mean, we talk about changing lives, right? It's been a progression, that same concept.
Another example of how about someone who finished school,
Right.
came in as a life insurance agent,
Correct.
came here to actually see if they can sell their products here. God bless him. He's a go-getter. 2 weeks later, he joined us.
Yes.
He actually has a 4-year degree, right?
Correct. So Bryce, actually, we're going to have him on the show next week.
Awesome.
But he's an example of he went through school. To your point, went down the life insurance path, and something that happened in his personal life was near and dear to him that even kickstarted him in the life journey. But a year and a half or so into that, realized P&C is really where his heart was at, and residual income once again with the P&C property and casualty side versus the life really excited him, and he joined us. He was actually. And we'll talk about him more next week, but he was actually the fastest agent to join the $100,000 club within our organization.
The $100,000 club is what?
So $100,000 club is a select group of agents that write $100,000 in premium within one calendar month. We had 26 agents this year actually accomplish that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Bryce was the fastest to do it.
He hit it the fastest. He hit it within his first 6 months within the industry.
So again, he actually went to school.
Correct.
Just decided I'm going to do insurance anyways.
Correct.
It really is a good business. He saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, to his point, his a different standpoint. He graduated with a degree that he still doesn't use today for less than $5,000. So he was like, why not do it? But we do have some other examples, even with what we're rolling out now into the new year of the John Galt mentorship. Right, we have a couple agents that are actually working with us full time while still going to school, right? To satisfy mommy and daddy because they're helping them get through school, which I get, but they also don't want to lose another opportunity to come and join us and be mentored while they're still going to school.
We're not telling people don't go to school.
Correct.
But if you don't know what you want to do or even what your major is, you might as well go to insurance.
Right.
I still believe come do insurance first. Learn all about business and life and people and selling skills and networking. And if you still want to go to school, go to school. More power to you.
Right.
But again, why go in debt and why do something where you're just going to go waste 3 years? Right. Degrees are important. Just you don't have to get them right because everyone said it was right.
Correct. I mean, we talk about it. I talk about with my wife all the time. She was summa cum laude, #1 in her college class, and we've got the 3 girls that are now starting to talk about college. And she's onto that same understanding, maybe it's influenced by you for the last 15 years of her life, but
maybe.
Unless you want to go to school for something that requires that degree, why just go to school to go to school? And I think so many times, especially for my generation, our parents didn't really go to school. And so now they were pushing for us to go to school. And, I think 52% of Americans don't even use their degree that they went to college for.
Right.
It's a waste. That means 48% of people actually use it. The other 52 come join us, build an empire.
Well, don't forget the old school thinking is go to school, get a degree, and once you have a degree, then you're eligible to get hired. That's not even true anymore.
Correct.
It doesn't matter.
Correct. I looked it up last week. 30% of people aren't even hired within their industry once they even get that degree.
There you go. Yeah. We have Bryce, and what about Brendan Bowlby? He's over there working with Tyler.
Yes. So Brendan, same thing. He was a year and a half, 2 years.
2 years in school. I
think he did 2 years. Reached out to you, right?
I think I reached out to him.
I think you might have been grooming him since he was
like 6.
Right.
It's funny about college. His father and I went to school together.
Right.
His
Who
dad,
dropped out first, you or him?
his dad graduated, I think.
Wow, what a loser.
I think, yeah. But I'm not sure. Did you finish? I got to call him.
I think we
See
gotta
if we
find
get that was who was calling. I got to call him. But as I would go visit him, I'd say, don't forget, if the school thing doesn't work, because he was kind of wishy-washy, or if you don't like school, come talk to me. I'll set you up down in Florida. I'll teach you the business.
Right.
And see if you like it. He took a leap of faith. It didn't help that I let him live in my house, right? That helped a
Well,
little
he
bit.
moved from Illinois down to Florida, right?
Correct.
And interesting about his story is, that first 6 months, he kind of was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Do I want to be in?
Homesick.
Right. He was homesick. Moved to Florida by himself. Yeah, he had Papa Podgy a little bit.
Uncle Pete.
Uncle Pete. But it took him that first 6 months to really take a step back, and I think he went back home in December, right? And then he came back, and he told me last week when I was with him, you called him and said, "Hey, like, what are we doing? Are you in? Are you out? What are we doing?"
Give it one more shot.
Right, and
give it one more try and see how
it's been. He had his best year ever this year.
He was also at the $100,000.
He was at the $100,000 club meeting or dinner, and he's setting the world on fire right now. I think he's going to hit 2 million in come January.
Yeah, he is. That's awesome.
And yeah, I mean, he even with that 6 month of kind of figuring out what he wants to do, he hit that 2 million mark in less than 3 years.
And then his next step will be trying to bring someone in to develop and duplicate his efforts so he can build an agency of his own.
Correct. And that's kind of our whole philosophy, right? You come in, you learn from us, you grow that book of business to about 1.52 million, and then now you duplicate your success to that next person that you bring in to help grow and develop and mentor them.
And let's talk about Zane.
Okay.
He's not as young as he was. However, Zane did not finish school, did he?
He did not.
Okay.
Zane went to school to play hockey, broke his ankle, and said, "If I'm not playing hockey, why am I here?"
Okay. He joined us. We're going back some time now.
Yes.
But it's an important enough story to talk about Zane, because Zane started with us at what age?
21.
21 years old.
Yeah.
Dropped out of school.
Yeah.
At first, he fought the system a little bit. Once he buckled down and bought into our system and followed our system, tell us his progression.
So Zane started with us, going all the way back 10 years ago, 21 years old, to your point, fought the system. Another one, didn't really know if this is what he wanted to do, just moved back home to be with his dad after deciding that college wasn't for him. And about a year in, he was a little bit longer, but about a year in, it clicked. And now 9 years, fast forward, of winning every award that we have, being a top producer for the last 5 years in a row. I think he's on 72 months in a row of not doing less than 100 grand.
Tyler's trying to do the same.
Tyler's trying to, we got a couple that are trying to duplicate that, but he's 72 months in a row now, not doing less than 100 grand. He's surpassed 200,000 in a month multiple times.
His personal book is what now?
So he's at over 13 million as a personal book.
Personal book of business.
And his agency
which pays him $900,000 a year, just
right.
so you know.
And his agency is approaching $30 million.
And how old is he?
He's 31.
10 years, $31 million. Zane is a millionaire, and he technically doesn't have to work again.
Correct.
He loves the challenge of it, loves to sell, but technically he can walk away and make $1 million a year.
Correct.
Never have to go back.
No. And what Zane, one of the things that has helped him is that he isn't addicted to the work.
He's addicted to that top production.
Correct.
So.
I think this will be starting the third year in a row that he's like, all right, I'm not going to be the top producer this year. I'm taking a step back. And here he is again, fighting to be that top spot.
And to be fair, not everybody's Zane,
Right.
but we just want to show the potential of what can happen.
Correct.
So I always like to talk about what can an average person, 22 years old, 18 years old, whatever, what would that look like from start to 5 years, average?
Okay. So, just from a pure number standpoint, right? So we're looking at, on average, your first year, you're doing about 300 to 400,000 in premium.
Which means about 40,000 to me in money.
Yeah, so it breaks down. About 10% of that is kind of going to be what you take home in a revenue standpoint. So if you're doing 300 to 400, you're looking about 35 to 40 grand your first year.
Well, that doesn't sound that great.
No, but you have no debt. right? You're building a business, and every single policy that you sell from day one, once again, is being added to your total book of business. So year one, yeah, you're making 35, 40 grand, not that exciting.
You make 35 to 40,000 being taught how to be a millionaire.
Correct.
So it's a pretty good deal.
Beautiful thing about this is that second year, now a portion of that you sold in year one rolls over automatically. So January 1 of your second year, you're already starting the year at 15 to 20,000 head start without selling another policy.
Again, the beauty of this business.
Correct. So then, on average, that second year, obviously, now you're more vested in the business. You're not, learning, asking a lot of the same questions that you were year one. So on average, that second year, you're going to be doing about 5 to 600,000. Now that 5 to 600,000 is going to pay you 50 to 60, but it's not just the 50 or 60. And you've got to add that to the 15 to 20 from
Correct.
the year prior. So second year, 75.
No debt, learning, building yourself a business for the future.
One step closer to having that agency owner. And by that third year is really on average of when people start to have that conversation of, okay, now I want to become my own agency. Now I want to start to hire. And that year, that third year, you start to see a big leap, right? They're no longer doing the 5 to 600,000. Now they're at that $1 million.
That's usually the $1 million producer.
Correct. They're hitting
which is
that
what
$1 million.
Which is what we teach anyway.
Plus the residual income from the first 2 years. So that's when, that third year, if you follow our system, you will be making over 6 figures before you would have even had a college degree. And then you take that number and go into your 4th and 5th year. On average, our agents that are here for 5 years are making right around $250,000 a year with their own agency,
right.
And a staff of 3 to 4 if they follow the system the way that we've laid it out for them.
It's not a bad 5-year plan, is it?
No.
At that time, could someone go back to school if they wanted?
Absolutely. Will they?
No.
Probably not.
Right. Unless your heart really isn't to something that you wanted.
Right.
Doctor, lawyer, hockey player, I don't know.
He plays hockey at night now.
Correct. With the half a knee?
Yes.
Yes. The thing that was cool about Zane bringing him back up is he hired a lot of his hockey buddies.
Yes.
Eventually, they saw how well he was doing.
Correct.
Show me a check. Okay, here's a check. So he ended up hiring people with the same mentality. So not only did he have fun at work with his friends, they're all making money.
Correct.
It really is a way.
Well, and now what's happening is that next phase is now they're going to have that opportunity to open their agencies with him and create that partnership with, to your point, some college buddies that are selling insurance on a day-to-day, but they're building multi-million-dollar insurance agencies.
How hard is it to learn insurance, anyways?
I would say that to learn it is, no matter if you're going to be a doctor, or you're going to be a surgeon, or you're going to be a school teacher, you've got to learn your material, right? And so for us, there's really nothing different than that. Our industry, the way that we have it set up, we're going to teach you, and that's really from start to finish on everything that you need to know about the industry. But bigger than that, it's how to grow that business, right? It's almost 2 different parts of your brain. One is the underwriting guidelines, all the boring stuff of the actual insurance policy. And then the second part, which is where a lot of our agents thrive and where we get excited, is how to grow that business.
Right. How
do you actually, hire? How do you fire? Where do you find these people? And how to grow that agency. But it's a learning curve, and I'm still asking you questions more so on the business standpoint at this point,
Sure.
15 years in. But it's no different than any other industry of learning what your lingo and your information is.